First of all, would you have your baby mother out here with her booty cheeks out dancing on Usher? Or are we tripping for having some sort of morals for our wives?
Bro, first of all, I'm Russian. I get a ticket. Hit me for $2.87.
My favorite people. His name is Jamal King. He's called the 9 to 5 million.
A lot of people that I know from A&M, they kind of struggle with who their identity is when they move from college. Ladies and gentlemen, what is up? It's your boy Uncle Carlton back again with another episode of the Two Black Kings podcast. Xavier, what's up with you, bro?
Man. Wow, this is kind of like our first time doing it in Austin. Like, we do it usually in person in Dallas, but it's good to have, like, you know, to be in Austin in your humble abode.
Hey, you already know.
You.
Yes, sir.
But,
yes, sir. The pleasure is all mine.
Yeah, just more about me. Man, I told you last week or on the last episode that I got a job.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm super excited.
Sure.
I also don't think like our viewers know what I do, but I do more so like internal auditing. Got my master's in accounting, so pretty much will be traveling. You know, I'm working in the construction, procurement, and engineering industry. So I'll be flying down to South Carolina on Sunday.
He's saying it so casually. That shit is insane, bro. How are you saying it so casually? Can you just stunt just a little bit, bro?
Bro, I can't even.
Bro, come on.
Like I say, it's business as usual. We
cool as hell.
Yeah, it's something we just do every day. So
we drink to our accomplishments.
Oh God. So actually, I'm glad you did a reintroduction of yourself because we have a lot of new viewers. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a shout out. Yeah. Thank you for the support. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe if you like this type of content, and we can keep pushing it out for you guys. But I want to reintroduce myself as well. My name is Rashad Orange. Please call me Rashad at this point. At this point, just call me Rashad. But I work at the bank. I don't like to say the names because, you know, there's a whole liability issue, but oh God. So I work at the bank. I'm an underwriter. I underwrite commercial real estate loans, and I live in Austin, Texas. And so I bought a house out here. I lived in San Antonio last year. So it's been a pretty good ride right now. We're almost in stabilization. We're almost cash flowing. So that's like a smooth little life update. I don't think people even knew that I moved to Austin. Like, yeah. So I live in San Antonio right after leaving Texas A&M, and now I live in Austin, one of the greatest cities in America. Bro. Literally one of the greatest cities in America. Bro. Everybody's inflowing from California, Vegas, out west, because they're saying it's a little bit too expensive. They can mess with the Texas laws, and there's a lot of money and land to be made out here. So
and that's kind of like what we've been doing, I guess, my whole time here in Austin. It's just looking at like the different real estate, bro. We were out driving around, just like looking at different plots. I think the next step, you know, Rashad is more so trying to go into the land investing. I think I want to go more so into like multifamily investing.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Over this past week, I've kind of been getting my LLC like in order. I think, you know, at another later date we can go more into like how to make like an LLC.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so I made my LLC like last year. And then just opened up a checkings and a savings for it this time. Yeah, bro. And that's just it felt like a whole different like mindset change. One of the things I was doing this past weekend, I was talking to my little cousin, and we talk a lot about the mindset between like a W-2 employee and just a CEO. So like, Rashad, what do you think is like that mindset shift that has shifted from, okay, I'm just a worker every day to like more so like I am the CEO of my life? Like,
yeah, it actually is empowering because I feel like it gives me a lot of autonomy of my own life. Like, I get to really control my time more when I'm in an entrepreneurial mindset. And because I'm in control of my time, I actually enjoy it more. So it doesn't really feel like work. When I'm editing a video or, you know, doing something on the social media or, you know, doing some filing for my taxes.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm more just progressing my life.
Yeah. And
so that's what I think is more different for an entrepreneurial mindset. You feel more control of your life and that you're progressing in a path that you want to go to rather than kind of just you could progress in your corporate job. It's great, but there's just a level of control that you don't have.
Right. So and I think just in life, you either gonna, work on your dream or work for somebody else's dream.
100%, bro.
That's kind of like the mindset that I'm trying to shift into. Is just more so, I'm a CEO. How can I make this, generational wealth for like my family and
for
stuff?
For sure.
So yeah.
And I actually wanted to touch on that because, we obviously have the Two Black Kings podcast, but we have our own LLCs.
Right.
And, one thing that we're trying to do is take our discretionary income and make more money from that.
Yeah,
we talked about the whole creating more streams of income.
Yep.
You had a great spill with Jamal King, who actually reposted our
bro.
Go ahead and say that.
Go ahead, bro. When I tell you that shit, it just turned me up so much. First of all, I just want to thank all the viewers that actually view us every single time. But if you don't know Jamal King, I've literally brought this man up multiple times on the podcast.
No cap.
But he really reposted us twice on his page last week.
Bro.
And when I tell you that was the highlight of my week, bro.
Yes, sir.
I was like, wow. And then, so on top of this is a great segue. Jamal King is actually going to be at an InvestFest. So InvestFest is the big investment festival that's going down at Atlanta, August 25th to the 27th.
Yep.
Some of the biggest businessmen are going to be there.
100%.
And so that actually brings me to the King of the Week. So one of the headliners for InvestFest is Robert Smith. If you don't know Robert Smith, he is a big businessman. Think of, the Morehouse College. They got their, student loans paid for. This was this guy.
Yeah.
So he's a huge businessman, and he's primarily in private equity. And so one of the reasons why he's in, our King of the Week this week is because his company Vista Equity Partners just sold the software company Aptio for $4.6 billion.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, so it was 142% return on his investment.
100%.
142%.
That's insane.
Bro, it's ridiculous. So it's big ups to him. So he's actually gonna be at the InvestFest along with P. Diddy. Steve Harvey's gonna be there.
We gotta get in front of all those folks.
Yeah, bro. And you've seen us at the conference for Las Vegas. It's just it's a different feel when you're in front of your idols. So yeah, I think that's gonna be.
It's inspiring, bro, and I love it. And I can't wait for InvestFest because we got a little squad going. We're not in this alone. We got a Two Black Kings team at this point.
Yep.
And so we got a little squad going. We're gonna try to make the most out of our investment. You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, the Jamal King stuff, the reposting stuff, we clearly are making we're making good moves. Right now.
For sure.
We're seeing more success in the podcast with the new viewers. And so what you can say, our advice works because we're implementing our advice over time and just progressing. And so that stuff works, and I'm glad that we actually have a lot of success now because it actually makes it easier to put in the work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so success breeds success. But I actually wanted to go into the Austin stuff just a little bit more.
Okay, yeah.
And so with the real estate investing, kind of what my plan is I want to do more. I want to have complete control over my time. That's my ultimate goal. And to do that, you have to have money, resources, and networking abilities.
Yeah.
So that's just the bottom line.
Yeah.
But really, when you get older, I want to have set up some assets that continue to pay me into perpetuity. And if you don't know what perpetuity means, it means forever.
Forever.
And so if I can get an asset where I don't really have to work on it to pay me forever, that seems like the best way to hedge my risk against not having enough to retire.
Yeah.
And so the best way I see doing that, and keep in mind, I'm still learning and I'm not anybody's, investment coach or anything.
Yeah.
So this is just my perspective.
Yeah.
But the best way I see it currently is to purchase land in a city that's growing and ground lease that land out for 99 years. And 99-year ground leases are very common. So don't think it's something that's far-fetched. They're very common. To where I'll get a grocery store to just ground lease my land and they'll pay me for the next 99 years, whether it be Walmart, HEB, Kroger, whoever it is. So that's one of my plans. Also, we can get into some multifamily development. I know you were talking about that earlier. Bro. And with that, you hire a property manager. You do have expenses, but people need to stay somewhere. They need to live. And if you're in a good location, people are going to stay there into pretty much perpetuity. And so people are going to be paying you through their rent, and that money's going to be funneled to you in whatever fund.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to hedge your investment for pretty much the rest of your life.
Yeah. Along that lines of like the multifamily. So a lot of the research that I do this past weekend was on the multifamily investing. I think one of the biggest things that I learned, one is, just looking at the property value, like out here in Austin, is just, like, absolutely ridiculous. You have Samsung coming in here, you got Tesla coming in here.
Yes,
and so what I want to do is get a multifamily home with an FHA loan. So a couple of stipulations with the FHA loan. One of the biggest stipulations is you have to live there for a year. So I don't mind, taking that year on the chin. It's just moving down here to Austin. I pretty much work remote with a new job. But with that, I'll be able to, not only with the FHA, I'll put 3.5% down. So I think we both did conventional for like our houses, which is like 5%. So I want to put 3.5% down with a duplex, and then have somebody living in one part, and then me, pretty much living rent free. I think that's my next goal in life. Obviously I would want like a roommate, that can lease the little room out, but I want to get to a point where I just don't have rent. Like that. That's pretty much the biggest living expense. It's like, 48% of like my needs category.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll update you, more on like the more research that I do about multifamily investing. But I think a lot of it is just more so like the action of it.
Word. And I actually wanted to go into the location value of Austin and compare it to Dallas. Actually, I wanted to kind of have some banter. Like, with Austin, it's pretty much the tech hub of Texas, clearly. But, you have San Francisco as the tech hub, but I feel like Austin is probably number two. And so you have a lot of companies, Google, Apple, Tesla, Samsung, multiple other, semiconductor companies are moving down here in the near future. There's a lot of office like downtown of just a whole bunch of startup techs and this, that, and the third. So I actually live in between Tesla's Gigafactory on 130 and the new Samsung facility that's going to be in Taylor, Texas. And so one of the reasons why I think Austin's property value is going to shoot up is because of those two companies. And then about 20 miles out west, you have Apple's new campus for Texas.
Right.
And so there's just a lot of huge multi-billion dollar companies, multi-trillion dollar companies even, moving some of their campuses to this specific area. And so when you have that happen, other people are going to join the wave, and people are just going to start rushing here. And that's exactly what we're seeing.
Yeah.
We actually don't even have enough infrastructure. That's why there's so much traffic. But I just wanted to throw that out there because I think, that's pretty much already happened in Dallas, and it's still growing because you got in Frisco, you got the Dallas Cowboys, you got a new office park that's going down there. It's going to be like a new downtown. And so which one do you think is better? Do you think Austin is better, or do you prefer Dallas?
Man, that is actually a hard question.
Yeah.
Just because I would say, so my mindset on it is I like Dallas just because obviously I live there now.
Right.
But I would say Fort Worth is one of the biggest, fastest growing cities like in America right now. So if I were to do like some investing, it would be in Fort Worth. Also have South Dallas, which is like Waxahachie, a little bit closer to where I live. But in terms of like where I see my money going the farthest, absolutely Austin, bro.
Austin?
Like I don't know how many of our viewers have actually been to Austin, but once you drive here, it's literally flat land. Like,
bro,
for miles and miles and miles, you see flat land and you see construction. And for anybody that's into real estate investment, there's a couple of things that you want to look for, like when you're wanting to quote unquote buy right. So buying right is just making sure you have the right property that you want in your portfolio. And that could be something as simple as HEBs going up. He was telling me about the Goddard School. Like there's a certain amount, there's a certain school that, if it's present, it pretty much tells you the demographic, financially of what the community will be.
Exactly.
Obviously looking at the schools, because property values, some of the property values that you pay, when you own a home, go towards the schools. And so if you see the schools are actually improving, nice brick, have a great stadium, it's kind of like an indication of, okay, you're in a good, community. So yeah, it's quite a different, it's a various, views of, whether it be gentrification, whether it just be overall property improvement. But there's multiple signs of like, places that you want to put your money. And I think Austin is like one of the best spots.
Yeah, and actually this weekend we took some time to So I have a unique like position to where I can look at all the land for sale in the entire country, and I can look at all the rental rates in the entire country, and I can look at all the industrial buildings, commercial buildings, and multifamily buildings in the entire country. And so what I did for me and Xavier and a couple of more people is I created a list of about 35 land spots in the designated area that I talked about earlier, kind of the 130 corridor, I-35 corridor, and I basically set the limit to under 2 million because I'm really not trying to spend a crazy amount of money right now. Like 2 million sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
Like we wouldn't be financing 100% of it, obviously, but you know how that goes. So I filtered it to 2 million, and there was about 43 properties ish.
Yeah.
And so me and Xavier went to about 5 or 6 of them this weekend, and we plan on doing that in Dallas as well when I go up to Dallas. And we're just gonna look at good land spots and kind of like conjecture what we can see the community becoming, and try to make a good chess play to see like if we can find some land for that it'll appreciate in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. So while we're talking about all this, investment and finance jargon, we can go to the financial market update.
Yeah, bro. So the Fed is gonna raise rates at least 2 more times. It honestly might even be more. Inflation has been a little bit sticky, and actually in the ECB, that's the European Central Bank, is going to raise rates as well because their inflation numbers just came out and they're at 8.7%, which is really like not good. Their goal is 2%. Just put it to comparison. The United States right now is at about 4. I think it's either 4.1 or 4.7. I can't remember, but it's sub 5%.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way, and it's on the way down. So they're trying to. So we're on the right track, but the ECB, there's something clearly going wrong. So the ECB definitely directly affects us, and I can't really tell you why because I don't really know, but I know we're all the world economies are interconnected, and so if they're not doing well, that doesn't really bode well for us in the long term. And so I really say all that to say, like, actually I had a real life situation that me and Dion just talked about on the way back from hooping this morning. I said, like, I was trying to say, like, oh, I got a lot of gas. I have to fill up my gas tank, and I just filled it up like Tuesday, right? And then, it hit me for like 50, and like that's $50 every couple of days. That's a lot, low key. And so I was like, man, I need to get an electric car. And I'm like doing the scenario analysis in my head, like, should I get an electric car? Like, I don't pay a car note now, but if I got an electric car, I could trade in my car for $20K and maybe get a $40,000 car and pay a note on $20K. But I was like, damn, if I have to pay a note, I'll have to pay at a higher interest rate now because the Fed is hiking interest rates. And so instead of that payment being maybe $300 over 5 years, it's now probably $400. And so does that $100, that opportunity cost, like, I'm not spending money on gas for sure, but I still have to pay a car note. And so that could have just been my gas. And so that's what was filtering through my head, those two variables. And I didn't come up with a conclusion yet. But that's kind of how interest rates of the Fed, how I talk about their raising interest rates, that's kind of how it affects the average consumer. Because it played into a factor into if I'm going to buy a new car and if that's a smart decision. Yeah,
because like, of course, with the Tesla, like, you don't pay for gas, you don't pay for oil changes, like you're not paying for like engine troubles and stuff like that. I think that's definitely like I've kind of been trying to choose my next car.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, my truck is at what, 215,000.
Yeah,
bro. Like, oh my god.
He rode that joint to the ground.
Yeah. So I'm definitely looking at a Tesla or Mercedes. I know Mercedes is a little bit more expensive, but bro, when you have the money, bro, sometimes you just gotta splurge.
If you cash flowing, you might as well.
Bro.
If it makes sense, it makes sense.
Facts,
like, we have to enjoy ourselves at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's great. You want to go ahead and get into the Am I Tripping?
Yeah, but before we get there, we can one of the biggest one of the biggest things that happened in like the financial market is pretty recently is like the student loans got struck down pretty much. So if you haven't been living under a rock, there was there has been like legislation out to where it was either 20,000 was going to be recovered for people that were a part of the Pell Grant recipients, and then 10K for every average borrower of student loans. And so that was actually struck down by the Supreme Court. They said they were going to have like some maneuvering, or the whole Biden administration was gonna have some maneuvering around that legislation. But bro, if you're listening to like the average consumer, it's not happening, bro. Like you need to start. What I would do now is start preparing myself. How can I now budget another like an extra $100 to $150? Depending on like how much you have in student loans.
Right.
And so that has been like one of my next things. Once I get my credit card debt down, I could definitely want to attack it because there's two mindsets that I've heard, with this whole student loans. It's one, it's like, all right, I'm gonna get on top of it, make it a part of my budget. And then the other one is the worst. It's like, oh, forget the student loans. Like that's not gonna happen. I'm gonna die with them. Please do not do that.
Like, please stop.
Do not. If you want financial wealth and you want financial like stability, you're going to just make it a part of it. Like, as unfortunate as it is, that we didn't get the relief. Like, just make it a part of your budget. Spend that whole 120, 150 or whatever that you have to make. But yeah, definitely prepare yourself,
bro.
For sure.
And that's one thing I'm blessed. I didn't have to pay student loans.
Yeah, he an athlete, so he got this shit paid for. But yeah, I got about like 12, which ain't too bad. Like I feel like I can get it done in like a year, maybe.
With your new job for sure.
Yeah. With a new job, I can easily 6 months maybe. But
oh God, he's funny.
He was gonna chop it in half.
But you want to introduce the Am I Tripping? So this is a pretty big.
Yeah, bro. So. Cause we seen it with Sierra, bro, and Russell Wilson.
Okay.
And now we seen it. Now we seen it with Keke Palmer, bro.
Yeah.
She was wearing what was she even at?
She was at the Usher residency.
The Usher concert. My mom was at that concert.
Yeah, it was at the Usher residency concert in Las Vegas. And she had, some pretty revealing clothes
I'm gonna put it on the screen for you guys to see. Yeah, but she had her booty cheeks all out.
Yeah, bro. And so the biggest thing was, I get it that Usher is pretty much everybody and their mama's, old high school or, longtime crush. And so she was just like being like serenaded by Usher. They gave him a hug or whatever. And so what happened was the boyfriend, not the husband, not the fiance, the boyfriend, is obviously the child to Keke's, or the father to Keke's child. Mm-hmm. But he was like, it's the outfit though. You a mom. That's literally what he tweeted.
Oh shit! I didn't even know that.
So that's all he said.
I'm gonna find the tweet. Have it.
Yeah, it's the outfit though. ... You a mom. And so Twitter went into a frenzy. They were like, who do you think you are telling Keke she can't do this, and men are always insecure, you need to let her be a baddie, da. And so what I would like to know, I'm going to point it to you, Rashad. Whew. First of all, would you have your baby mother out here with her booty cheeks out dancing on Usher? Or are we tripping for having some sort of morals for our lives?
Bro, first of all,
how would you handle that situation?
Bro, how would I handle that situation? Shit. I probably would have said something pettier on Twitter. No cap. Because that shit would have pissed me off. But okay, so I already know.
Don't
y'all are all...
Don't handle it like that.
So how would you have handled it?
Bro, I wouldn't even go into Instagram. I mean, I wouldn't even go into Twitter. Like, that's just like that.
Oh, you would have just handed it with her?
Yeah, I would have been like, at the least, I would have like sent it to my boys like, hey, like, bro, I can't believe she did this. Like, what y'all think? Am I tripping? Like, I would ask y'all first before I like put that shit into the public. But I'm definitely more of a proponent of, one, because we have a child together, and two, even if they're not married, but like if we're married, your image is now a reflection of me. So like when I go out, people gonna be like, oh, this is your wife, or like, so me personally, how I would handle it, I'd be like, hey, come on now, like, I wouldn't want you out here, putting your body all on.
But really, the question is, why did she wear it? That's like what we have to get to. What you mean? Because she knows she's in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
And like, what's the point of wearing an outfit that's that revealing unless you're looking for attention?
So this is my whole thing. because I get it. I know, because we're men, we don't necessarily understand the whole postpartum and, body image, how it feels to feel sexy.
All right.
So I think, I'm going to give her some grace in that I'm trying to think like, okay, maybe she just wants to feel sexy again. She wants to feel like herself, the old Keke, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But at the same time, like, there's so many other things that you could do. Like, we're going to put the video up, but like when she... turned around, it was like ass. It was strictly ass cheeks.
It was like, we were captivated. We were like, damn.
Because like me as a man, of course I liked it, but as if I was like the boyfriend or husband, baby daddy, anything, I'd be like, I can't handle
and that leads me perfectly into my point. Because they call him insecure, right? Yeah. But as you just said, we was looking at those booty cheeks like, damn.
Yeah.
And so he's not insecure for wanting to protect his woman from other men.
Yeah.
I don't understand why women don't get that. Because the world is actually a dangerous place.
So what you mean by protecting her?
So some people call it controlling. You know what I mean? But sometimes, and I'm not gonna, this is like gonna be kind of a controversial statement, right? But I feel like sometimes, you can, like, men can see long distance, or we can see like more further into the future. Sometimes. I'm not saying from all women. I'm just saying sometimes, at least for me.
Yeah.
And so knowing that, sometimes I could see a girl making a mistake before she makes it in the whole, you already know the situation, the gamers group chat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We could see that mistake happening and she still did it, and it happened exactly how we told her it was gonna happen.
Yeah,
and so sometimes I feel like if I was to tell her not to do it because I could see that happening, I get labeled as controlling, but really I'm just protecting her from herself.
Damn. And so you think that that's like a difficult thing that you've had in your previous relationship, is like, do women think you are controlling?
Well, I wouldn't say women think I'm controlling, but maybe they do a little bit, because I tell them, look, you do whatever you want. But like you said, your woman is a representation of you.
Yeah.
And so if you want to be with me, then you are not going to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you can do it. I'm not mad if you do it. I just personally won't be your man and do it.
And my whole thing on the situation is, I think one of the biggest things that's getting me is I know, and especially because we went to all-boys school. We went to all-boys school from, 7th grade to 12th grade. So we know how the male mindset works, bro. And so me thinking like, I got a baddie girlfriend. She got, she puts on sexy stuff. But I know if you were going out there putting on, like, pretty much showing your ass, I know every man is going to
they're gonna think a certain way.
They're gonna think a certain way, and they're gonna think that they can shoot at you now. And like, that shit is off the table. Like, and I think that was one of the things that was like super important to me, is the communication factor, bro. Just letting your woman know, like, hey, this is what and I think it goes both ways, because sometimes I feel like when women hear, your explanation and be like, oh, men are always so controlling and super insecure, but at the same time, like, I would also, like, I hate to say allow my wife, but like, I would also have the communication with my wife to where if I was doing some wild as hell, like, so what Chance the Rapper did, where he was like going to Carnival and he was like having girls twerk on him.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I know that I'm a representation of my wife, and she told me like, nigga, you not doing that. I'd be like, okay. And I wouldn't even consider it like controlling.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider it controlling. Yeah. And that's the thing, because I think when women start to yell controlling and insecure, it actually like evokes a lot of emotion out of men. And I think that's why they do it. Because like when somebody is calling me controlling and I'm actually trying to protect them, or they're saying I'm insecure because I could see something, or or they're calling just me insecure about something that I don't think is necessarily insecure, it kind of like pisses me off.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
I just want to know how they would feel if we walked around in gray sweatpants.
Very funny as hell. But like, really though, because I don't know, like,
I feel like
as a man, do you think that we walk around and just want attention?
Well, I think that it goes to the whole like, and that's just like the modern dating age, like especially with social media, included with it. It's a sort of like peacocking. So trying to show like what you give. And sometimes I would say, and this is just like a general rule, like I feel like a lot of women see their worth in their looks, how they appear to the public. Right. And so, most times men is not the same. So like with men, it's like, what value do you bring? Like what can you provide to society? And that will show me, okay, he's a valuable man or something like that. But which is like why I want to bring it to the topic. So what we're going to be talking about this week is more so, prioritizing your life in a way that, is conducive to that kind of lifestyle of, a two-parent home, multi-generational wealth. There's different things like that. But, in order to get to that point, like you have to realize like what's important to me. And so,
you do have to realize what's important.
And one of the things that we talked about like this past week, we talked to his dad about it. It's just like,
shout out to the GOAT.
Yeah, the GOAT, bro, for sure. Yeah. And trying to figure out like what is important and how can that facilitate the decisions I make on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, bro.
So I kind of want to put it to you, Rashad. Like, what do you see is like, how do you go about organizing your week in a way to where you can be the most productive that you can be?
Bro, I'm glad you asked, actually. Because I've been trying to relay this information in a way that makes sense, but I think about things so gamer that a lot of people really don't understand what I'm talking about. But because I don't really have any better analogies, I'm going to use the gamer one. So let me just paint a picture, right? So let's just say you're in an RPG game. And an RPG game is a role-playing game. And in these games, what happens is you start off at level 0 and you progress to level 1, level 2, level 3 until you get to the max level, whatever that may be. And at that max level, you've pretty much completed the game, all the side quests, and got all the good gear, and you're the coldest, right? You're the coldest. Facts. And so in these RPG games, like you have main quests, you have side quests, and you have secondary quests, you have errands, all these different things to help you become the best version of yourself, pretty much. Right. That's the main breakdown of the game. And so what I try to do in my life is act like I'm in an RPG game. And I'm not doing this, it's more subconscious than it is like, oh, this is a video game. Like RPG. Yeah, like it's more subconscious, but I'm like, okay, like the level I am in 2023 is way colder than I was in 2022 and 2021 because I progressed through the game. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. And so in that game, in your progression, you kind of have to lay out what your main quests are, what your side quests are, what your errands are, and what your hobbies are. That's what I like to call it. And that is what flows into the prioritization because you prioritize your main quest, but you really prioritize everything when you can feed your main quest with your side quests.
Yes, bro.
And that's kind of how I'm looking at life and how I organize my life every week. I have a couple of main quests, 2 or 3, and everything is filtering into those 3 main quests, and everything I do on a week-to-week basis is filtering straight into those main quests, so I never get off track.
And like I think one of the biggest quotes that we had this past week is how you do some things is how you're gonna do everything.
So
and that's what I had to realize. Like, so with mine, I don't do that whole RPG, but I definitely prioritize. Like, so basically, what I did was I tried to count the top 10 things that I prioritize in my life. Whether it be from family, financial freedom, traveling, Two Like Kings podcast. It was a long list. And so what I think that kind of helps with is when you get up in the morning, like, it facilitates all your ideas. So like one of my goals is like physical and mental health. I know to keep my physical body, the working out, I have to eat on top of this. So the first thing I do as soon as I wake up is boil me some eggs, give me some oatmeal.
Yeah, bro.
And like, once you're able to be so intentional, whether it be making up your bed, cleaning your house, different things like that, how you do some things is how you're gonna do everything. And so what I'm trying to do more so is in each task that I take on each day, it need to be a reflection of who I'm trying to become.
Word.
A lot of what we go through now is a reflection of what the past 3-4 years have been. So like, if you really want to see where you can be in a year from now, try to look at your life a year from today.
Yeah.
Like,
bro.
What were you doing a year from today to get you to this
like
point?
in the past, a year.
Yes.
In the past.
A year in the past to get you to the today. And that will tell you like whether you're on the right path.
Okay.
And so it's definitely been a difficult thing because, and this is the shit that me and Rashad. So Rashad is now taking up bartending. And so,
Side quest.
It's a side quest.
I bring it up to say, like, there's gonna be some things in your life where you have to say, like, is this going to lead to who I plan to be in the future? So I kind of want to hear your
Please, I have an explanation.
Your live,
because I have not explained this to him yet, bro. So I actually have a good explanation. Okay. So bartending, right?
Okay.
I got the idea from AJ. Okay, right?
Yeah.
So he's making good money. This, that, the third. But when I actually did scenario analysis, I was thinking like one of my main problems when it comes to just my personality is my friend group was always set from jump. Whether it be at MUS, I was cool with everybody, but my main friend groups was pretty much set because there was so few black people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, facts.
And so that friend group was set. When I got to college, I mainly hung around track people because I had to spend most of my time at the track or in class. And then when we go on our trips, we had to spend all of our time together. So my friend group was pretty much track throughout high school and college. And so when I got to the real world, having this mindset that my friend group was set, I would literally go to work and come home and not really talk to nobody. Yeah. And like, I really wasn't fucking with that. I'm not gonna lie, because not that I'm lonely by any means, but it just feels good to just have a community around you. Like they help you in ways that you didn't even know you need help. Right. And so I was missing that community. And so I'm like, okay, how can I build a community? And now we're going to Invest Fest. I'm linking with different people throughout the podcast. I'm going to the gym and actually talking in the gym and hooping with people. Yeah. And so I've created a semi-community, but I think for bartending specifically, it'll put me in a place. And I'm going to bartend not like at a bar, but I want to go to like a restaurant, like a nice restaurant spot. Yeah. So assuming I'm at a nice restaurant spot, I want to be in a place where I can meet, people that are kind of like at my level or even ahead, or just meet more quality women that may just come to the bars and like look cute. And so they give out good tips too, so I can actually cash flow. So really one of my main goals is to learn how to socialize with strangers more, because that's what I'll be doing.
Thanks, yeah.
Pub the Two Black Kings podcast and build a community, because I'll just be talking to people at a nice restaurant. Just build a community around Austin and just have connections all over the city. Right.
And so, okay. I messed that explanation. So like, and this is my whole thing. And this takes into like the next part of it.
Yeah.
So we're going to delve into a little bit of the art of saying no. So one thing I've noticed about me and Rashad, and just like other people like of our caliber, is like we're pretty much good at everything we do. As humbly as I can say it.
That is a great way to put it.
And it's not just so like, oh, I think I'm the best, but it's just like I know the amount of effort and work and intentionality I'm gonna put to whatever I choose to do. And so one of the biggest things that I had to learn, especially while I was in college, is the art of saying no. Because it's like you get to a point where you're such a high achiever, everybody wants you on your team. So they're like, oh, Xavier, can you do this over here, or can you speak at this engagement? It's just like I'm okay with it now. If I have the the bandwidth to like actually give to that whatever event is that's presented itself. Then I'm definitely gonna do it. But as you get higher up and as you get more high achieving, you're pretty much good at a lot of things just because of your preparation and your work. But you need to learn how to say like, all right, even though I know I'm good at this, I need to say no because it gives more time to X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm trying to work on a little bit more is just, the art of saying no about like being super committed to like my boundaries. So a little bit about me now, like I'm studying for the CPA.
Yeah.
And for anybody that's studying for pretty much anything, real estate exam, CPA, like anything, there needs to be some sort of like boundaries that you set with friends, family, just like, hey, this block of time during the day, I literally need to study.
Yeah,
like, because if I don't do this, like I understand, like you have July 4th and like birthdays come up, and like in my hierarchy of prioritization, like I always have family first. So, like I'm always gonna make room for family. But to go back to that prioritization, like if you're not on that list of where I see the CPA exam like being, then it's like, all right, now I have to set a boundary with you that I'm no longer like hanging out with you every weekend just to turn up and drink, just because like I need to be committed. Like if I don't give this certain time and the intentionality to this goal, then it's not gonna get done.
Yeah,
so like
it's not gonna get done, bro.
I was gonna pose to you like, when's the last time that you said no to something?
Said no to something?
So were you just like, I can't do it. Even though I know I would be good at it.
On Wednesday, so Matt Worthington, who I did the Riser podcast with, I'm gonna talk about later, but he invited me to a networking event on Wednesday downtown, and I just needed to study. And so I was like, I can't even make it, bro, but I'll make it. Like, keep letting me know. But it's a great point that you made, because I've already told you at the beginning of the podcast, but my most valuable asset is control over my time. Yeah. Right?
Thanks.
And so in order to do that, bro, you have to say no.
Yeah.
Or you'll get overbooked.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I hate doing. Okay. That's one thing that I hated doing, like, at the office. I would say yes to everything and then like have to kind of rush through stuff.
Yep.
And so you have to say no, because not only will it improve the quality of your life, but you'll actually set fair expectations that you can meet into perpetuity.
Yep.
And that's how you create and maintain long-lasting relationships when everybody has similar expectations.
And that's super important. Like that's one of the things that I had to realize. Like, even though I have available time, that doesn't mean I have available time for you. Right. And like sometimes you just need to set that boundary for people, because they feel like they can FaceTime you whenever, they can ask you to come out and you just say yes. Like,
oh God.
You need to even like I've gotten to a point now where like even if I'm not doing anything on the weekends and somebody's like asking, oh, can I do? I tell them no, just because it's just like, bro, you think I'm too available, and it's just like I'm not even available like that. But there does get to a point where you're very you're prioritizing a lot of things in your life, and you're handling a lot of different businesses or ventures that you have going on. So one of the things I want to bring up is the whole decision fatigue.